Hello, this is MasonKelley, High School Sports Coordinator at the Seattle Times. This is the MasonKelley Experiment. I'm joined today by Mount Si boys soccer coach Darren Brown, and we're going to talk just a little bit about the high school boys soccer season, a little bit about soccer in general. So, first of all, how are things going for your team this year?
Good, Mason. I think it's a transition going from the last year to this year. We have a different style of team. Last year we were a real strong physical team. This year we're more possession oriented, which is good, but we're just still learning our identity. So it's a work in progress, but we see some good things, some really good things, which we're happy about.
And then, talk a little bit about last night. I went out and watched Shorewood and Shorecrest. It was a great game, shootout, overtime, and everything like that. Talk a little bit about some of the teams that we should look for this year in 3A.
Well, in 3A, there's really three, possibly four that really stick out in my mind that are just really strong. Shorecrest, of course, a lot of good talent pool. Glenn is just an amazing kid. I'm really glad he's going to OSU. I think they hooked up a great recruit there. You got to give Camus a lot of credit. They do a good job year in, year out, that program. And they always come back with a solid squad, so you have to throw them in the mix. Glacier Peak, which we ran to last year in the state quarters, they're deep and well coached. Strong back line, arguably best keeper in the state, in my opinion. So they have all the right pieces to make another run.
And how about, obviously, you guys play in 3A, but how about 4A? What are some teams that we should look out for in that?
Well, one that I always keep up with your rankings. I think you do a great job, and I think the team that's going to fly under the radar and you can see down the road is going to be Eastlake. They are deep, very, very potent lineup. They have a couple players on the academy team, the Sounders Academy, and man, they're very well skilled, and they're running at a real strong pace right now. I think Jervis has them right where he wants them. He's smart about how he coaches them and the way he uses his players, and that's a team I could see doing some damage in the state playoffs.
Mm-hmm. And then, kind of moving on, kind of going back to your team a little bit, to talk a little bit about a guy that I wrote about last year, and he was really a talented player for you guys last year. Talk a little bit about Ryan Herman's absence this year.
Well, Ryan's just he's an exceptional talent. Incredible athlete, one of the most athletic kids I've ever coached. He has an opportunity really to do some great things, not only the Santa Clara program this year, but in his training with the Sounders Academy. It's unfortunate we don't have him this year because, of course we miss him, but Dylan Ord's our goalkeeper. We have a lot of faith in. We're behind him 100%. And so that transition has been kind of a work in progress, but it's been going well.
Mm-hmm. And talk a little bit about kind of how Dylan's been able to fill that role. Obviously those are some big shoes to fill, but it sounds like he's done an admirable job.
Oh, Dylan's done a great job. He's an extremely hard worker. And really puts himself, and gives himself everything he's got in his training session. So we're behind Dylan a lot, and keep reminding him, you don't have to fulfill Ryan's shoes. You just play your game, and we'll be behind you.
And JV baseball has been
canceled. And then, kind of moving on a little bit, and talk about kind of moving into the playoffs. And obviously, you guys, you like the team you had last year, were able to get to the quarterfinals, and then ran up against the team in Glacier Peak that was really kind of peaking at the right time. How tough is it to really get that far in the playoffs and make that push for a state title, especially knowing that one bounce of the ball can totally change the complexion of the game?
This is a great question. I think all along we set that goal and that bar of excellence really high. Our goal was to win a state title, and we just ran into a buzzsaw that night against Glacier Peak. Our hats off to the state champion. They were a great team and came in really unnoticed. They were off the radar. I remember the round before that we went and scouted Auburn Mountain View, looked at two other teams in Olympia, and we had really good scouting reports, and Glacier Peak just kind of rolled in. We didn't know what to expect of them, and now we know that school, not just soccer in general, is a powerhouse.
Well, and how impressive is that to see a school, I think it's their third year now, to already have state titles in boys soccer, I think girls cross country, and a track title. It seems almost unprecedented.
Yes, very, very. They kind of say it's the new skyline. That's kind of the joke around a lot of the coaches and some of the kids is and that's a compliment to them. It's just Skyline has done the same few things throughout the last 5-10 years. They pushed out a lot of top quality teams. Glacier Peak's following that trend. And it's really a credit to their coaches, their athletic administration, and the athletes they have there. They have something going on really special.
Mm-hmm. And then kind of to wrap things up a little bit. You look at some of the talent. I mean, you look at Ryan going to Santa Clara next year, Andrew Weekly, the goalkeeper at Glacier Peak, going to Villanova. I mean, you've got some big time talent. Glenn Payton going to Oregon State next year. How deep is the talent pool here in Washington? How good is the soccer that we're seeing out there on fields this spring?
Well, when coming from Oregon, when I first came up here. I always thought Oregon was dominant, and when I was really surprised when I came up here to see the class sizes 3A, 4A pushing out so much D1, D2 talent. Mm-hmm. It's impressive. I still think we have work to do here as far as catching up with states like California, Florida, but they have a huge advantage on us. They have better seasons, which we have. We have the rain deals. We're never going to change that, but. It's good. It's really good, and I think you see a lot of top tier talent just in this area alone. Mm-hmm. You drive up down the I-90 corridor, 520. You're going to catch a game, and you're going to see some D1, D2 talent. Mm-hmm.
And I mean, obviously the weather is a little bit difficult, and I mean, and national rankings in spring are a little misleading because not every state plays boys soccer in the spring. But I mean, to see that many teams from this state in those national rankings, Shorecrest and teams like that. I mean, I think that says a lot about the direction that soccer in the state is headed. Definitely
is. It's a question I get asked a lot. Is soccer is becoming more and more popular, and it's good to see that. It's been a long time coming, and I think we're hitting the point where we're seeing kids not only embrace it, but parents as well, and coaches throughout the school. Are starting to really come out and support soccer, which before they didn't know much about. It's a good thing. Mm-hmm. And the one thing I actually am curious about, I know that everybody has talked about over the years the basketball boom and how that related to the Sonics, and have you noticed, are there more kids turning out for soccer since the Sounders have started here in your program, or has that had any impact, or is that something down the road, or is that something that we won't ever see? I think it happened really in year one. When the Sounders first kicked off, I mean, it was just a giant boom of enthusiasm. You roll around through North Benson, Oklahoma, you'll see a bunch of Sounders stickers on cars, kids wearing jerseys through the hallways. It's became more popular, and so kids now have role models that they see on TV, and so it's a positive thing for sure. Mm-hmm. All right, well, I think that just about covers it from here. Obviously, as the spring progresses and moving into the next into next year, I'll have more and more of these, and we'll continue to do this. Obviously, we're here at Mount Si High School. You could kind of hear the announcements as we were kind of going through all this. But this stuff is kind of fun, and I'm actually working on an intro video for this, so the show will continue to grow, and we'll continue to have guests and try to do this once a week or once every other week, maybe a couple times a week, depending on how it grows. So I'd like to thank Darren for taking the time to do this, and until next time, thanks for stopping by.